Yo, what's going on guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another video. Today for you guys, I have something that I know you guys are just gonna be like, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Guys, today for you, I have quite possibly the most regrettable and stupidest purchase I think I have quite possibly ever made. The other week, I was looking on a site called Play Asia, where they sell all sorts of different Japanese things, because specifically, I was actually looking for the physical version of Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. I don't know why, but for some reason, they only released a physical copy of DMC4 for PlayStation 4 in Japan, otherwise, you can't get a physical anywhere else. So while I was browsing for this bad boy, on the side of the page, I saw this ridiculous thing. And when I mean ridiculous thing, I'm really speaking ridiculous thing. I have no idea why I currently have this. Will I ever use this? Probably not. Is it practical? Definitely not. But for some reason, my inner collector just spoke to me. Do it. You need it. You want it. Go on. Press the buy button. Press the buy button. I did. Do it. This thing right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm talking about. Quite possibly the most regrettable purchase I have ever made in my life. Guys, what I have right here is a PlayStation 4 controller. I'm not even joking you. This whole thing, this is a PS4 controller. So this right here is a Dragon Quest slime. If you guys are familiar with the Dragon Quest series, another one of Square Enix's major IPs, then you'll know exactly what this thing here is. It's a slime from Dragon Quest. Now, the cool thing to note about this is, for whatever reason, PlayStation have actually certified this, meaning that it's an officially licensed PlayStation product. I think that if this was completely third party, and that if it wasn't actually licensed by PlayStation, I probably wouldn't be as sold as I was for whatever reason as to why I was sold. I wish I could tell you, but I just can't. Now, taking a look at the actual thing, you're probably wondering whereabouts are the buttons. As you guys can see on the back of the slime, we have R1, R2, L1, L2, as well as the micro USB port. Otherwise, the actual controller itself is on the ass of the slime. You can't actually see it, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be unboxing this bad boy and actually testing it out on some Kingdom Hearts. So this is it right here, out of the box. It's actually pretty lightweight. I was expecting this to be like quite hefty and chunky. It is still chunky, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot lighter than I was actually expecting. The actual texture on the controller itself is almost like a rubbery plastic type of material, and this is what the actual controller itself looks like. And as you guys can see, it looks like the most awkwardest thing ever, dude. Like, how can you actually practically use this thing? You can't! Yeah, no, literally, like, holding this thing, this is actually how you're meant to hold it, like, as a controller, and it just feels really clunky and chunky in your hand. Like, as of right now, I feel like I'm holding a soup bowl and that I'm asking for second helpings or something. Please, mom. One thing that I have to say I'm happy with is the actual analog sticks here. I was expecting that the analog sticks would actually be, like, mounted inside the controller itself. Sort of like how the analog stick works on the Nintendo 3DS, where there's no actual stick kind of coming up from the controller itself. Rather, it's actually embedded onto the plastic. But we have actual analog sticks on this bad boy, which I have to say I am actually happy about. This thing right here is the touchpad, pretty weird looking, start and select, as well as a turbo mode, because I haven't seen a controller with turbo mode for like years. But like, turbo mode only came with the third-party controllers back in like the PlayStation 2 era, and it would seem like they're still doing this. And also, fun fact, there is a PlayStation 2 version of this as well that came out like years ago, and so it's interesting to see that they decided to make another one but for PS4. It also comes with a little display stand right here that says Dragon Quest on the front, and the sort of slots just go into the analog sticks on the controller, and it can just sort of, I don't know, sit on your shelf and stare into your soul. Help. Alright, so we're on Kingdom Hearts 2, and I've been playing around with it for probably about 10 minutes now, and what I can tell you is this controller is certainly not practical. Holding it, you can get like a firm grip on it, and like the games are fully playable. Like, I guess you could say that if you got used to how this controller felt, then I guess you could kind of pull yourself through a session of playing a game with this controller. But I don't think that this controller was released with the intention of people actually using it, or more so, this is obviously a collector's item. The other thing that's also really confusing me about this controller is you guys will notice that, of course, the controller layout is over a sort of sphere. So the buttons, like the D-pad as well as the triangle, circle, square, and X and stuff, they're kind of like slanted. And obviously on a normal controller, the layout isn't actually positioned on a slant. So that's kind of another thing that's sort of hard to get used to. The other feature with this controller is that it comes with turbo mode, which is a little extra button right here. If you guys bought third-party controllers for systems like, I would say, Xbox, PlayStation 2 for sure, or even PS3, some of those controllers actually came with turbo buttons. What these turbo buttons do is, if I hold down the turbo button and press square, then basically the controller is just going to continue pressing square for me. As you guys can see, Sora is just continuing to guard, and when I move, he's obviously going to dodge roll. The thing about turbo mode is this kind of became a little bit broken in games like Call of Duty back in the day, and I don't know what the rules are towards turbo mode nowadays and whether or not people still use turbo mode for games like Call of Duty or other first-person shooters, but essentially using it was a way to like quickly kill people by just simply turboing the trigger. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to do a really quick tournament. Let's just, for example's sake, let's do the Goddess of Fate Cup and see how this goes. Give you guys a little bit of a demo with the controller being in use. So again, it just feels really strange. Trying to actually remember like where the buttons are is something that I'm struggling with. Again, it's because of the fact that the layout is sort of on an angle. It's kind of slanted. Let's use some magic. Even pressing the triggers is so weird. I mean, look at these triggers, dude. What are these? Goddamn chicken strips? Like, look at the way I'm holding this thing. When I'm actually playing the game, I'm sort of with my right hand kind of not gripping it entirely. I'm sort of just holding it like this, which is just really weird. But anyway guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Just a cool little wacky thing I'd show you guys. I think this is probably the craziest PlayStation 4 controller you can get. It's certainly not practical, and like I was saying, this thing is obviously more so designed to be a collector's item. But anyway guys, hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I've been Cynical, and until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stunning. Go dead my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crank, gaming up the bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.